Peace and blessings. I'm Giovanna, the Spiritual Love Healer. I've had this question mulling around. I was going to do a reading and thought it was going to be on something else, but apparently the thing that keeps coming forward when I'm sitting with my cards is, why is there this attack, this divide between men and women? So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to pull some cards. I'm using the Journey Tarot. I have not used this deck before. I just did a unboxing kind of review on it. And I'm going to use the Messenger Oracle and perhaps some other decks if I feel called to pull some other things in. So let's go ahead and get into this reading and see what comes up. All right, so I shuffled some of the cards, flipped over, so I just left those there. I kind of wanted to be surprised by the message that comes out. So let's see, and hopefully everything is visible. So these are the Messenger Oracles that I pulled. I've got share your thoughts. Do not fear the unknown. Ooh. Be without malice. And calm in the storm. And then on the bottom of the deck is Honor Gaia. So for the tarot, I've got Knight of Earth, Ten of Air reversed, King of Water, and Ace of Water. Very interesting, because we've got water there as well. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have the Tower. So two things, when I first saw the Gaia card and the Tower on the bottom of the deck, is that there's this need to honor the Great Mother, right? Mother Earth is Gaia, that feminine energy. And I feel like with this Tower card, a lot of what we're seeing is due to the rising of the divine feminine. So it is breaking up structures that have long been in place. And again, I see that here with the Knight of Earth. With the Knight of Earth, I think about like the seeds that were planted and what they grew into, which we have Ten of Air reverse, which again is, Ten of Air is like curses. It is negative energy, negative thought forms and patterns that have manifested. With it being in reverse, I feel like that is again coming to an end, and we're going to see more men go into this energy of the King of Water, which is mastery over their emotions, being able to have a little more self-awareness, more about self-love, really educating themselves on things, dealing with emotions, expanding beyond their logical mind as well as their base natures. And so when I look at share your thoughts, I feel like this is, because when I'm shuffling, they're like, you already know the answer. So I feel like this is in relation to something, a download that I received sometime last year, where there's a lot of guilt and shame, ancestral and karmic, and there's some buzzing going on. I think someone's using a saw outside, so I apologize if you can hear that, but we're gonna keep going. There's a lot of guilt, shame, karmic, and ancestral trauma that men are carrying. Most of them are not willing to go within. So when I say do not fear the unknown, they're afraid to dive into those waters. They're afraid to explore their emotions outside of what society has told them that they're supposed to be and they're supposed to feel. And so because they're fearing the unknown, they're operating out of these lower energies. So when I'm looking at these two, for some reason, I'm getting like the, right, green represents heart chakra, yellow is solar plexus, we've got red, which is an orange. Red is the root, and then that orange is that sacral. I'm seeing a lot of disconnect from the heart energy operating out of the lower chakras, right? Out of the animal nature, out of the ego. And so it's hard for them to move from love because they're not operating from their heart space. They're operating from a different place. Let's see what else comes up. We got to get used to filming like this. Yep, so the High Priestess is confirming that sharing my thoughts is the download that I received already. Let's see what's going on with fear. Do not fear the unknown. What is this regarding? Nine of Fire and passion, which is strength. So there's something here about like fearing their own strength. And we know that the strength card is not about necessarily about physical brute strength. It's about that inner strength. And I find it very interesting that there's a masculine energy here who has been bound, and we can see that the chains are now broken. So it's like moving out of that need to beat or excuse me, to exude physical strength as being strength, and moving into a place where you're no longer overwhelmed by your heart, by your emotions. You're tapping into the softer side of things. So when I think about the Nine of Fire, and that represents like passion, energy, it's creativity, it's that inner spark, that inner fire, beginning to see that there's another world out there beyond what you have been taught, beyond what has been seeded or planted in your mind, and you're able to break away from that and operate more from your divine feminine energy, being able to tame that inner beast within, being able to balance out those lower chakras and move more so in harmony and alignment with the divine feminine energy. And what do we have here? Be without malice. And I think with be without malice is saying to like here too, it's like release the fear. Like it's gonna be okay. With the Ten of Air in reverse, it's like the whatever this seed was that was planted, whatever, you know, karmic ancestral stuff that, you know, people or men may not be aware of, it's like that's coming to an end regardless of if you are coming along or not. And it's almost like it's saying you can come willingly or you can get dragged. And like we had the tower, oh, it's gone now because I started shuffling again, but we have the tower on the bottom of the deck, and it's like this awakening is happening. And so now within the past few years, we're seeing a lot more conversations around men who are talking about, you know, being good husbands, being good fathers, mental health. They're talking about spiritual wellness. They're talking about emotional intelligence and healing, you know, healing their trauma. And so I feel like, you know, that is the beginning, and there's much more to do. So I'm grateful to see that there are these leaders and teachers showing up within that space to serve men in this capacity, to help them release the fear that they have, to release, you know, the old ways of being, to move into the new. And so here we have Be Without Malice. Look at this art studio. I love this. I love this so much because this is a space of creating, right? Even when we talk about, you know, do not fear the unknown. This is the unknown. When the artist goes into the studio, they don't always know what they're going to create. They just know that they are there to create something, but they're not sure. I know when I used to paint, like I would sit like, okay, well, what do I want to use? Do I want to use oils? Do I want to use pastels? Do I want to use watercolor pencils? Or do I want to use watercolors? Like, then what type of canvas do I want to use? Do I want to use a linen canvas? Do I want to gesso it? Like there's there's so many different steps, these fun creative steps. And I'm seeing this alkali of air, right? Because that is page energy, right? This is the beginning of learning a new way of being. And again, that ties into the King of Water, as well as like calm in the storm. Like men are finding their way out of the chaos and crazy that is happening within. And when I say crazy, I don't mean it as insanity. I just mean the overwhelming energies, the overwhelming messages and programming that they have received, to find some sort of calm and peace within, so that they can begin to create a new identity and a new way of being for themselves. And again, that goes back into the Ace of Water. Coming from a more loving place. This person is sitting in a beautiful outdoor, I guess almost like a sanctuary or temple, like meditating, going within to figure out what is masculinity to me, going within to figure out why am I being disrespectful towards women, or why am I having these unhealthy dynamics and relationships with women. And we've got the Two of Water, that is their partnership. And then we have healing relations, healing the way that they see the divine feminine, or see the feminine in general, because from what I see a lot of is there's a lot of men who do not regard feminine as divine. They regard feminine beings as objects, as something to have, to take, to use, as a tool, and not as a divine vessel, not as a spark of the divine. And so I do see that what's happening should not be a calling card to jump on or to harp on. It's highlighting that healing is needed. A lot of men, when I see Do Not Fear the Unknown and this woman standing here in the red dress watching the balloon, a lot of men may have this internal fear of women and women's power. And that makes me think back to the period of time when, why did it escape me? But when the Inquisition and witch hunts and things like that, when people were afraid of women's power. And so I feel like some of that is probably ingrained in what's happening, seeing women as something, these scary witches, instead of these beautiful beings that just want to frolic barefoot in nature and drink tea. And, our abilities to heal, our monthly cycle. A lot of men with daughters do not understand women's bodies or women's cycles. And, again, do not fear the unknown. So if you are partnered, maybe having a conversation with your partner to understand women's bodies, even after childbirth, right? A lot of men will be disinterested in their partner because their bodies changes. That's immature. So start to really learn to understand and control your lack of knowledge, as well as the way in which you're wielding your power, so that you aren't moving out of malice, that you're moving out of understanding, or at least being open to understand what's going on with your feminine counterparts. But yeah, so it's showing that all of this stuff that we're seeing online with the podcasts and the conversations about women need to be submissive and all of these things, these conversations and things are happening because it's highlighting that healing is needed in a very deep way. It's very interesting too that the feminine energies that came out here, they look, if you weren't aware, they look fearful. They look very scary. They look witchy. They look like this one is older and she has something on her arm there, right? These are the ways in which I would say some men describe women as, right, being a hag, or, being these weird, witchy, she put a root on me type of person. And that's not the case. There's a grave misunderstanding about feminine energy, and that needs to be healed so that people can come back into harmony, into union, whether or not it's in intimate partnerships, but just getting back to a place of deep respect for women, for the divine feminine, because it can happen in this way where it's a more gentle process. It can happen in a way where you're awakening to your own, truth as a divine masculine, right? Getting on your path. There are some amazing masculine teachers when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to healing and mental health and all of these different things. So it can be that easy, or again, the tower was here as a underlying energy. And I feel like some of this is necessary in order for change to take place. So you have be vigilant, let your emotions flow, protect the wild and green, embrace the masculine. So that's everything that I just said. And notice these are all green, vibrating with the energy of the heart chakra. Be vigilant. You see how this heart, it's time for the divine masculine's heart activation. It's time for them to anchor into love, and really grow out of these old paradigms, these old ways of thinking, because those structures are being dismantled, and that's a lot of what we are seeing. There's some ancient wisdom that has been protected, and it feels like it's starting to come back online and to be translated and downloaded. And that is, again, getting back into emotional harmony, allowing your emotions to flow, protecting the wild and green, which goes back into Gaia, Mother Earth, really protecting that energy and embodying what it means to be the masculine, what it means to be a man, what it means to be a man in a man's body on this earth, in connection to earth, in connection to women, in connection to spirituality, in connection to self. And I love that this is a very soft energy. It's a nature energy. And I actually want to read what that says in the guidebook. Embrace the masculine. Here in the present, you need to embrace the masculine aspects of your nature and let it guide your steps. Now is the time to be assertive, to act with authority, and stand up for both yourself and your truths. Fight for what you believe and do not allow others to tell you that you must not or cannot. Remember, while you allow your masculine self to be dominant, you need to temper your assertiveness and domination and determination with gentleness and compassion. So it's not telling you that you cannot have quote unquote masculine traits. It's telling you that you need balance with the feminine, with love, with compassion, with gentleness. You don't have to be like a bull in a china shop all the time. Sometimes you can take your time and check in and see, like, does this feel right? Is this the right way for me to move? Is this the right way for me to treat someone? And for some reason, I'm seeing heaven on earth within this card, and really honoring, again, the feminine energy that exists. And that's a beautiful way of building a new harmonious world where women are safe, where women are valued, respected, and seen. And yeah, so for men, this is a wake-up call. There's a rebirth happening. There is a deep sense of healing and releasing the ego, releasing the trauma and the pain, going into the fire and coming out on the other side, a more balanced and harmonious and healed divine masculine energy. Wow, I didn't know what to expect with this, but I'm grateful that I listened to the call to my intuition to pull some cards around this and see what came up. And so going back to the message that I received in regards to, what is going on with men. And this message was specifically, to Black men, and a lot of times when I am seeing the posts and the content and conversations about, disrespectful towards women, it is, within the Black community. So, and I'm a Black person, so that's why I feel like the work that I do is very important, because there is a need to heal our community and heal the world at large. And that happens when we're able to coexist and co-create. Look at this. Let go of the old. That is a male peacock. Male peacocks are the ones that have the bright, beautiful feathers, because their job is to attract a beautiful, feminine, female peacock. Wait, no, I think they're called peahens, so that they can procreate. Let go of the old. This is like divine masculine energy. Who does not love peacocks? Look at the beautiful bright colors, just beauty. There's beauty in masculinity, and it doesn't have to be violent. It doesn't have to be disrespectful. It doesn't have to be harmful. It can be soft. It can be expressive. It can be healed. It can be dynamic. It can show up. And I want to read this one too. Are you holding on to beliefs and notions that no longer serve you? Are you blocking your own growth and forward momentum because you fear to end a chapter in your life? Do you fear how will you be respected? Will you be accepted? What is it that you're fearing by being loving and respectful to women? That was my ad lib. It's time to release all that you hold on to that no longer serves. It is time to say goodbye to all that no longer has a place or purpose in your life. It is time to have an emotional or physical spring clean. It is time to let go of the past so that you can be open to what the future may bring. And so when I look at this, I feel individually that it's time to let go, but I also feel that this is saying that for the collective, this is a time of emotional purging, of cleansing and clearing, and really letting go of these outdated beliefs and systems and structures that do not serve not only the divine feminine, but the divine masculine, as well as the world around us. So that is a very, very powerful message. I was not sure where this reading was going to take me, and then using a new deck that I had not worked with before, but the messages were very clear and beautiful that it is time for a change. And I hope that through the work that I do as a spiritual healer and just all the things that I can be of support and guidance during this time when so many people are healing. And I know with men, there is a lot of hurt and maybe not enough resources or, belief or understanding, when a man is dealing with trauma and challenges. A lot of times, we talk about these things and, men in their upbringing sometimes are not allowed to express themselves. It's, so there's so many reasons why we're seeing such misdirected energy come out of masculine from men. And I think it's very beautiful that we do have teachers and leaders and, spiritualists and all sorts of amazing resources and support for men. So this reading was in no way to bash anyone. It was to come to a place of understanding for myself, and then for others who might want to know, why is all of this happening? It's a wake-up call. We've seen these divides grow and grow and grow, and we're seeing that happen in a lot of different areas as far as structures not working. The dynamic between men and women have not been working for quite some time. And so, and just unhealthy, toxic masculinity, right? Just the way that the patriarchy and just men in general, the way that has been perpetuated is no longer working. And so when we're seeing men who are attacking women, whether it's physically or just emotionally or just in general conversation, degrading or putting women down, again, these are signs that there's some healing or some education or something there is needed. So I definitely would love to continue having these conversations. And I'm grateful that I did shift my platform to where I was able to, really want to be of support to masculine energy, though I would, so I really like the way that I'm doing my readings now. This feels very good and very supportive. So I'm grateful that I am listening to spirit, that I am doing what I was called to do. And I hope that this gave you a bit of understanding or wisdom. If you would like to, you can book a reading with me on my website, JavonnaTisdale.com/tarot. And I hope that I can help you live abundantly ever after pain, heartache, and get you to a point where you are happy, healthy, whole, feeling healed and complete within, and are able to manifest the love and life that you desire and deserve to. Until next time, peace.